podcast where people reach their goals and develop confidence one mind shift habit at a time. Let's join our host, certified coach Christina.
Hello, welcome to another Conversations with Coach. I am your host, certified mindset and confidence coach, Christina Calloway. I appreciate you joining me. If you are like me and you are a solopreneur and social media just makes you want to literally pull your hair out, this is the episode for you. Now, it's strange how before I became a solopreneur and I had my private account, I would just get on and post just carefree, just whatever I wanted to post, whatever crossed my mind, whatever inspired me, just without any thought. I would just post it and enjoyed it. And yeah, that's what I would do. As soon as I decided to become a solopreneur, it was just like a deer in headlights. I became so overwhelmed with social media. Now, I don't consider myself to be a social media guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not a beginner either. I'm definitely not intimidated by it. And I choose to get on the platforms that I feel most comfortable on. And as you know, because you're following me on all of my social media platforms, you find me on Facebook, you find me on Instagram, you find me on YouTube, you find me on LinkedIn. I have also been on Twitter. I'm not on that platform any longer. It's just not really something that I enjoyed doing. I guess it just wasn't enough characters for me. I just really didn't enjoy the engagement of it. I just really didn't enjoy it from a personal standpoint. And so I closed my account. I do have a TikTok account, but I'm not as active on it. I've never been one to do Snapchat or anything like that. And so as a solopreneur, I have been listening to different people talk about how you need to be engaged. They get really caught up and bogged down into the analytics, and then they start doing all of this other jargon. And before you know it, I feel like that cartoon where all the birds are kind of like swirling around above your head, and I just want to throw it all away. But I do also understand that to be in this space as a solopreneur, it is very important for our business because at the end of the day, no one or not too many people are reading print. In fact, the newspaper has gone digital. And so to be a solopreneur and to be successful, you've got to find your niche and you've got to find where they are and what platform they're on. Well, let's see, let's go back probably about 4 months ago. I decided that I would advertise for a social media intern. And since you have been following me for a while, I made an announcement and shared that I was successful in my search. And I have brought her on this episode of Conversations with Coach. And I am so excited that you all are going to get to meet her because she is single-handedly responsible for the new and improved accounts that I have. And she is doing a fantastic job, and I want to share her with you. Before I bring her on, I want to just share a little bit about her and her background. Her name is Kiera Young, as you already know from reading my social media, and she is from Greenville, South Carolina. She is an alumni of Calvin University, where she has obtained her bachelor's degree in marketing. And Kiera is now a graduate student at Lander University, where she is in the process of receiving her master's degree in management. Kiera wants to take what she has learned over the years in marketing and management and use that knowledge that she has gained to be able to help others in this marketing and social media world. In Kiera's free time, she loves to vlog for her YouTube channel. Maybe she can share with us about this whole vlogging thing. What I do know about it, it's like video and writing, but you're actually talking. So see, I still have so much more to learn, and I'm so glad she's on my team so she can teach me. She also enjoys making content for her TikTok account and working on her side hustle as a graphic designer. So we're going to help her turn her side hustle into a business because that's what I do. Kiera mentions that her aspirations of getting a job in social media marketing would make her keep grinding and always striving to become better in her projects and always making a difference in someone else's business and even her own. And see, she and I have that in common because I love making a difference in the lives of others. And so without further ado, I want you to help me by putting some love in that chat and helping me welcome my social media intern, Miss Kiera Young. Hi,
Yeah, hi.
Kiera. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here, and I cannot wait to drop some gems.
I'm so excited to have you. I'm always about sharing. And when I thought about having you on here, I was like, do I need to be doing this? Do I need to be sharing my secret weapon with everybody? And I was like, yes, you do, because that's who you are, and you always do that. And I love the conversation that we're going to be having because we're going to be having a conversation about social media 101. And just like I was sharing in your introduction, I know that when I was doing it just on my personal account before I blew that up, because just managing 2 accounts was too much. And so before I blew up my personal account, and it was just so much easier just to post whenever I wanted to.
Right.
But now that I am a solopreneur and I am doing it for my business, and it just became so much. So I want you to share with our viewing audience and those who will watch it on replay. I just want you to tell everyone, how did you get started in this?
So I got started it's when I actually entered into Claflin University, where I got my bachelor's in marketing. And I went in knowing that I wanted to do social media, wanted to be an influencer, wanted to do something with graphics. I'm always learning new things, and I knew that I wanted to do something in that area. And so I went in with the mindset of going into marketing and really hoping to learn something from it and actually use that, of course, when I get older or when I graduated, and actually be in a field of marketing. And so pretty much what I did was took the courses that I needed to take in order to not only just graduate, but also to take me to that next level with social media and marketing. And pretty much how I got started was just honestly looking at YouTube videos, talking to people who are already in graphic design or who are already in marketing, getting gems from them, getting information from them, and just really honestly just learning from them, and taking what it was that they were giving to me, and actually putting it to the notebook. And that's what got me here now. And I'm still growing, and I can't wait to see where I am in a few years and a few months.
That is so interesting. So so really, how long have you been doing this then?
I have been in social media and marketing since 2018. That's when I went to Claflin University when I started my matriculation at Claflin. But I have always had the desire for social media, fashion, marketing since I was in high school. My senior year is when I really connected with it a little bit more.
So, and I know you don't mind that I share your age because you put that in your bio, and I said, well, I'm not going to share your age, and I know that you don't mind, but the kind of that most people say, they'll say, well, most young people are just very good in social media anyway, and so they kind of put that tag, what I call a toe tag. They put that toe tag on those who are in your age bracket. So, what do you think it is that kind of pulls your age group into being more comfortable on social media than say maybe some other age groups? And it's not that other age groups aren't comfortable, but it does seem that those that are in your age group are a little bit more comfortable than maybe others are. What do you think is attributed to that?
I honestly think too, it just comes for my generation. Honestly, we came into the world kind of with more so technology being involved in and actually growing. So I feel like we just took onto that, we grasped onto that, and it really just kind of took off for us. Most of us, we are all really creative. We're all different, and then it's just like my generation, we really have a mind of our own. So it's everybody is different. Nobody tries to be. We always trying to find different ways of how to stand out or what makes us stand out from everybody else. And what can we put out there that's different. And just trying to change just this world of social media and technology itself. So I feel like honestly, it just kind of was a part of us. And then too, like we kind of grew up with social media when social media was actually getting better. So that's what I would say. That's why we really into social media and this graphic design stuff.
And I would agree with you. I do agree that you all came in, and I see babies now, even so young, when you're looking at them and you're scrolling on social media and you see them pushing the stool up to the refrigerators that have the apps on them, and they're just scrolling through trying to find, and it's just so amazing because you're like, that child can't be more than 18 months old and they can already find what it is that they want. So I think the curiosity definitely does start young. And you mentioned while we were just now talking that you have this desire to do social media, and that you have this creative desire and interest. And I find it very interesting that you have all of that. But what I find even more interesting is the fact that you want to use it to become a solopreneur yourself. You're not it's not that you're not interested, but you're more driven to become a solopreneur as opposed to connecting with a company. What drives you to want to become a solopreneur?
What drives me to honestly become a solo entrepreneur is that I've always been one since I was little. From selling lemonade outside of my house for $1, just growing and seeing myself grow to be this independent and always just hardworking, going after whatever it is that I want to do in life. I just feel like that's always been inside of me, to just always have my own. And it's nothing like having your own. And really, the reason why I really want to go into social media is because one, I went to school for it. Two, I really admire it. And three, it makes me happy. This is something that I can see myself going to work every day, sitting in front of my computer and actually enjoy doing it. And just really just feeling great about myself and great about, where I would be in the next few years. So honestly, it was always in me to be an entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur. It just keep evolving. Honestly, it's just natural to me, honestly.
Well, I admire that, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And I encourage anyone who has an entrepreneurial spirit to always nurture that. And whatever avenues that it takes for you to continue to grow in that way, I encourage you to do so. Now, I know that for me, as a solopreneur, I have a niche. I am a certified mindset and confidence coach to athletes, parents, coaches, and organizations. And I know that that is a very big struggle for a lot of people to identify what their niche is. And I always caution people, and I tell them not to really get so bogged down in trying to figure it out, because it is going to forever change, because it's kind of like water. We are evolving as people, and so will be our niche. When it comes to you and you working with individuals, what would you tell them from a social media aspect? How would you tell them what is your niche? How would you tell them to define that when it comes to social media?
So I would define it by something that makes you stand out, something that you actually enjoy doing, and something that you get a lot of feedback from. It would most likely be your niche. It comes from your goals as well. So if you have a set goal, and let's just use you, Miss Christina, as an example. You are a mindset coach, but however, you more so go leaning towards the athletes. So that came from you seeing your insights on, your social media platforms and the engagement that you were getting back. And most of those customers or your clients were athletes. So you start to realize, okay, this is my niche. This is who I'm leaning towards to. So honestly, it's about you really looking into your social media, knowing the difference and I would say not knowing the difference, but really just looking into your social media and to your accounts and making sure that you are making those connections, and actually looking at it and actually paying attention to it, because your social media is actually a guide for you. Most people don't know their niche. I'm still trying to find my niche, but I have social media to help me really find it. Once you dig deeper into your insights, that is what that is for. So you can find out what it is that you really need to advertise more, or what people are really engaged in. And then once you realize, okay, this is something that I'm getting a lot of followers for, this is something that is keeping my clients, my customers engaged, then that's when you know, okay, that is for me. And that's what your niche is. When it's something for you and when it seems natural to you, that is your niche.
That is really good advice. And I know that's something that you are helping me with, is to be able to understand those insights. Because I will tell you, Kiera, when it comes to looking at those insights, child, it is like, sometimes it's like taking spaghetti and throwing it up against the wall. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm looking at, because it really does just depend. It depends on what I've posted, the type of post, what time of the day I've posted. Sometimes I even think it's just the mood that the people are in when they are looking at it. And it might be all of the above of what I just said. Help the audience in terms of being able to understand those insights. How do we read that?
So I would say the best way to honestly read that is once you make a post, and you can just make a general post just to test the waters pretty much. Once you make that post and you usually wait about 24 hours or such, and then Instagram will then post your insights and show you the activity that is coming through your page. You're going to hit that. If you're on Instagram, you're going to hit the little three bubbles at the top, and it's going to say your activity or it's going to say insights. And you're going to click on that, and it's going to have a whole list from demographics all the way to who's viewing it, the gender, the age group. So you have all that information there. And what I really do suggest when people are looking at their insights is to really get a notebook and honestly daily log it, or whenever you post, always log your insights and your social media activity that is coming through, because you'll start to see a pattern. So you'll start to see what it is that people are liking, what they're not liking, what's the age range that you're advertising to. You'll see so much just within that one social media platform that can actually take you a long way. So really just making sure that you take time out your day to really just sit down and read through those insights all the way through, and taking notes as well, because that'll help you in the long run.
That is very valuable information. And I will just share with you, I am an individual who gets very overwhelmed by that information. Kiera and I set up weekly meetings. We have our team meetings every week, and she knows that I do get overwhelmed by that. So we have made an agreement that since this is fairly new for me, we're going to track it for a month. And I will share that information with her at that time. That works for us. So if you have a team that is working with your branding and working with your social media, do what works best for you. The main thing is do not get overwhelmed. Right. If you don't have someone who's managing your social media for you, then maybe you might want to consider that. Especially if it's becoming overwhelming. The other thing that I will say, that since Kiera and I have been working together on my social media, is that we communicate really well with one another, and she is always bouncing ideas. Like I present to her an idea, She is always bouncing things back off to me. So we have a very reciprocal relationship with one another. And we haven't been working together that long, but we established that out off the beginning. And so if you're looking for someone, an intern, or if you're looking to hire someone to be your branding person, that relationship is very important, that you communicate that when you're in the interviewing process and during the onboarding process, because we did do an onboarding process because we aren't in the same state. We are working virtual with one another. So that is possible, and to have a really good relationship. We're going to share some more of how that works between the two of us, so that if you are interested in saying, oh, well, I didn't know that was possible, that you could do that, it is very, very much so that you can. In the beginning, I talked about the different platforms that I'm on as it relates to my social media. And I also, in your introduction, shared that you have certain platforms that you're on as well. And as we know, there are many different platforms that people can be on, right?
Right.
Help the audience to identify which platform to choose from and how many that they should or should not be on.
Okay. So I would say, honestly, finding that social media that really fits what it is that you're trying to advertise. And so, for instance, as I'm an intern with Miss Christina, we are using currently Instagram the most. And the reason why we're using Instagram the most is because that's where her most engagement is. So you kind of want to be on social media sites that are giving you that most engagement, because you can be on Instagram, you can be on Facebook, and you can be on Twitter. However, if your Instagram is populating more people, more sales, more traffic coming through your websites, things like that, you might want to use Instagram a little bit more than you're using those other platforms. Nothing is wrong using those platforms. However, you want to use the one that is most common and getting you the most engagement. That way you can fall back on those other social media sites, such as Facebook or Twitter. That way it's kind of like your traffic is following to those other sites. And that way it's not like you're putting in so much work on Instagram to where now your clients and your customers, they have built that loyalty with you to now they can go ahead and follow you on your Twitter, on your Facebook. So that kind of does the work for itself. So I would honestly find out what social media platform you get the most engagement on, and what's really popping for you and for your business. And that's where you will post mainly on. And you can still post on the other social medias, but you will want to kind of post on the main one first, so that way you can start building that traffic to go through to your other accounts.
That is great advice, Kiera. And I do remember when you started looking at mine, and I do remember even in the interview process when you came in, you said, I've taken a look at it. This is what I recommend. And then after being chosen to be my intern, you were very honest with me, and you said it's going to take a while, because for me, I really didn't have any traction. Kiera was very honest in saying they really don't know who you are. My branding team had even said that you don't have a presence because you're not on here consistently enough. So part of the plan of action that Kiera has developed for me was, the very first part was to become consistent. She was very honest, and she said that is going to take time because social media is very fickle. You've got to develop trust with even your niche. They've got to know that if they're going to spend their time with you, you're not going to be here today and gone tomorrow. They've got to know that they can trust you, and the information that you provide, it is going to keep coming. It's going to keep being presented to them, because it doesn't matter. There's a saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is the case in point with social media. If you have a lot of great information and you are there and then you're gone, your niche is not going to trust you. And so Kiera was very honest with me and saying, Miss Christina, you are really good at what you do. However, your audience, they don't see you on a consistent basis. So her plan of action for me is to be consistent. And she identified Instagram for me. Kiera, I want you to share with the audience, and I don't mind you using me, that's fine. The plan that you had and how we came up with identifying the days that I would post, how often I would post, and just kind of share how we came up with that. And I know that it differs for everyone, but use me as an example.
Okay, so how we came up with Miss Christina's social media and how we were going to do the post was I really took a close look at her social media beforehand, which is very important to do if you are looking for a social media intern, or if you're looking for, or if you're doing your social media, making sure that they are looking at your social media beforehand, because it will make a totally difference when they are trying to discover when it's the best time for a post to go out or how the page should look. So I've seen on Miss Christina page that beforehand that it wasn't really it wasn't every day. It was some days. It wasn't consistent for a certain, like every single week, this is the day we're going to post. And most people look for that. They look for, okay, Monday, I'm looking for Mindset Monday. Tuesday, I'm looking for, talk with coach. Or Wednesday, I'm looking for, this. So what I did was I really took a close look at it, really did my research, and actually looked at her page and realized the theme that we wanted to go with as well, and kind of what kind of pattern we wanted to go with. So mindset, she's a mindset coach. You kind of think of, when you're coaching someone, or when you think of the word coach, you think of someone who is guiding you and who is leading you. And what kind of setting do you feel like someone is doing that? On a couch, or just on a vacation, being able to relax and think and things like that. So that's pretty much how I came over all with the Mindset Monday post, and the beach effect to it was just you calm. When you're on a beach, you're meditating, you're listening to something that's positive, things like that. So that's kind of how I wanted to bring that image to her page a little bit. Also, her colors represent her brand, so that's what she had already had in place. So all we had to do was add that into her social media post. And then we came up with the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday post, just because that is 3 times out of the week. Instead of doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's only 2 out the week. So 3 gives that little push. And then on top of that, Friday is when most people are pretty much getting off work, and then they have the weekend to themselves. So you're going to get more engagement on Fridays because it's the weekend. Children are getting their phones back if they're in school, so you have a pretty much big engagement on the weekends than you do during the week. So Friday was really giving that extra push that we needed in order for Miss Christina's social media to really grow. Monday is the start of the week, so why not post on Monday something positive, something that's going to get her clients and her customers moving, going, feeling great, feeling refreshed for the week. And Wednesday, that's the middle of the week. You're almost there. You almost finished. So we added that as her podcast. So that way y'all go check that out as well. And that's pretty much just that middle moment. She usually have guests coming in that are able to speak with her and talk about so many amazing topics. So we chose Wednesday for that because you're in the middle of the week, and so it's kind of like that motivation to keep pushing. You're almost there. So that's pretty much how I came up with her social media being posted on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And as I said, y'all, she's a powerhouse and she knows her stuff really well. And she just helps me to understand it even better. And even though we had to completely revamp my way of doing things, or even not doing them, but just understanding the methodology of gaining the trust of my audience, it just makes so much sense. And I'm looking forward to the growth, because I know that things will change because my audience is going to trust me more. I'm going to become more comfortable with it, and it's going to lead to me growing more. Now, as I said, Kiera has shared so many things with me. Now, Kiera, I've got you on here. I know you're going to share some social media gems with them. Don't give away all the secrets, okay? But it's okay to share some social media gems with them.
All right, so a couple social media gems is one. Being consistent, as Miss Christina talked about earlier, being consistent is really the most important gem of it all. Being consistent, making sure that you're kind of posting. You don't have to post every day, but making sure that you're posting frequently to really give that your customers or your clients that feelness of their, that of loyalty, that you actually care about them, and that you actually want them to grow with you in your business. So that is number one. Number two, making sure that you set goals that make sense for your business. So kind of what is it that you want from social media, is something that you should ask yourself. Is kind of like, what do I want from social media? What do I want to take from this? What do I want to put on there? It's very important as far as you building your social media. Another thing that I would say is, if you're trying to find any apps to use, or any softwares to use as far as generating your social media posts, I would definitely say Canva. Me and Miss Christina have been using Canva to be able to not only connect with each other, but also build flyers, do any of her social media posts. And then also we can schedule it from Canva as well. And also another one would be Hootsuite, which is another little sweet gem if you guys are looking for a platform to be able to generate your posts on a scheduled time. Also, just take time to research your target audience. It is very important that you take the time to research what it is that you are trying to target, because you don't really want to guess, because sometimes your guess can be okay, and then sometimes it can be the worst decision that you ever made. So just really honestly taking time to really research your target audience and seeing what it is that who you are advertising to, and who you're trying to target. And another one I would give you is just understanding your how we're talking your traffic, your metrics, things like that. Making sure that you take that in consideration, making sure that you're looking that over is very important, because that gives you all the gems that you need right there. Is really looking at your audience and looking at your social media insights, because they tell you a lot. So really don't take those for granted. Write them down, journal them, as I was saying earlier, and you'll realize the difference in weeks and months, the difference of how your social media has changed if you really pay attention to that.
Kiera, those were excellent gems. I feel comfortable. I feel that you didn't give away too many of our secrets. And I want people to be able to get in touch with you. And everyone knows how I do this. You all don't have to worry about writing down any of this. All of this is going to be in the show notes. But this is my call to action. And I know that she left out some really good, she gave you all, or gave out some really good gems. So I want you to connect with her. As she said, she is on Instagram and TikTok. And these are her handles. She's also on Facebook as well as LinkedIn. So again, you don't have to worry about writing any of this down. I'm going to include this in the show notes where you can find her. Would you like to share your email address with them, or would you like to just let them be able to get in touch with you over on your social media?
Yes, I can share my email.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and give that to them. What's your email?
So it would be Kiera, Kiera, Young, Young, 23 @gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay. So that is where you all are going to be able to reach out to her on her email, and just know she will answer, and probably set up a clarity call with you. Yes. Now, clarity calls are 15 minutes, and those are free. If you want anything else above that, that is a paid session. And but she will give you a free 15-minute clarity call. You can connect with her there at her email to set that up. That will also be in the show notes as well. Now, Kiera, before we wrap things up, there is one thing that I do with all of my show guests, and I'm going to do it with you too. In the final thoughts, before I let you out of here, what is the one mindset shift that you would like to leave with the audience as it relates to social media 101?
I would say always be willing to learn new stuff and be willing to do research and be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. It does not. I really want to let y'all know that it does not happen overnight. It does happen with time. So you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with your social media. Nothing great happens when you are being rushed. So be patient. And just let honestly not only God work, but also just be patient and let your customers come in, let your future clients come in. It will happen. You just have to be patient. You have to be able to put in the hard work as well, because nothing is going to be given to you unless you work hard for it.
And that is very well said. I have nothing else to add to that. I appreciate you so very much. I thank you so much for coming on and being my guest and allowing me to share you with my audience. It has been an honor and a pleasure to have you on Conversations with Coach.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I'm going to say goodbye to my audience, and then I'll be right with you.
All right.
And there you have it, everyone. That is my social media intern, and I am so thankful to be able to have shared her with you this evening. And if you are new as a business owner, if you are new to the social media, or even if you've been a part of it and you still find it to be overwhelming, or maybe you were doing really great in social media and all of a sudden your social media has just plateaued out and you're just kind of scratching your head like, I thought I figured this out and now the algorithms have changed. And it seems like with every update, the algorithms change. Well, you just heard it from a social media expert, and she's just given you a few tips on maybe what it is that you can do to help change all of that. And if you still feel overwhelmed by it and you're just like, you know what, I may need to reach out to Kiera and just get a clarity call with her. Or maybe I need to set up a session with her and try to figure out and just have her take a look at mine and see if she can maybe give me some pointers like she's helping Coach Christina. I'll share her with you. Go ahead and reach out to her. I don't mind because she sure is really good. I thank you so much for joining me. I ask you to continue to follow me on all of my social media platforms. You know where to find me. As of right now, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. As I continue to work with Kiera, you never know, I might pop up somewhere else. And of course, you can find me on my website. Hey, I start blogging now. Make sure you jump on over there and read my blogs and let me know what you think. And you know what? I expect to see you here next week, same time. And remember, life is only as good as your mindset. I will see you here next week. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Coach. Please be sure to follow Coach Christina on all of her social media platforms. And remember, life is only as good as your mindset.